Oh man, how's everyone doing? How's everyone day? Is everyone having a good day? I'm having a good day. I went to Starbucks. Woke up this morning early, ish, 6:30. Went to Starbucks. Got myself a Starbucks drink. Boom, right here. Got a Trenta, which is goes tall grande. Then it goes to the venti, and then it goes to Trenti or Trenta. I call it Trenta. And then so I drank that. Went to the gym, did some cardio, did some which I haven't done in a while. I love doing cardio. I haven't done it in a while. I've just been kind of like enjoying the summer, you know? Like I've been enjoying the summer. I've been going on like little vacations, beach here, lake here, going back to my girlfriend's apartment, hanging out for the weekend, getting the good food. Just chilling, dude. So I've just been eating whatever, which, I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's not that I don't want to do the cardio. I think it's more or less that the cardio takes up extra time, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, which drives me crazy. Um, because I want to go do shit. I want to like get out. I want to go do stuff. Do things that make me happy. Make me happy. That is important thing to do. There's so many times in your life you're gonna go through things that aren't gonna make you happy, that are miserable. And I mentioned him before, I think on the last podcast, about Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a brilliant man. He's a very intelligent man. And I actually was speaking to somebody a couple of days ago about, they mentioned or actually no, they initially thought it was them, and it turned out to be somebody else that they were talking about. And it was, one second guys, sorry. Sorry. I get panicky sometimes, especially if like, and I know it's stupid, like if people don't like respond back to you, but I get a little panicky. I worry a lot, especially about people that I care about. I worry a lot. And I think it's something that's completely reasonable. And so on everyone's iPhone, there has that like location thing to see like where somebody is, and it's bittersweet, right? Like it's one of those things where before you didn't know where anybody was, which was nice, right? Because it was nice in the sense, looking back at it, like the days where they didn't have a location, it was nice because you didn't worry as much. So I don't worry about where, like I only share my location with like a few people, like my parents and my girlfriend. Um, and sometimes like if the location doesn't show up and it shows up in a place, it's not like weird. Like it's not like I don't worry about it. But anyways, what I'm saying is before they had the location enabler for phones, you never really worried. But you did, but the worry wasn't like, wasn't something that you should have, like you didn't go to like the worst situation. Like I know for me, I go to the worst possible situation. Like if somebody is somewhere where they normally are, I don't worry about the little thing. Like in my mind, the person is getting killed, raped, or is already killed and already raped. And like that's like how the way my brain functions. It goes to like the worst possible situation. And I'm gonna get off that topic, but I don't like. I don't know, man. The location thing's weird, and it's always weird when people get so concerned about like security. Like the government knows so much about us, and that's interesting because in order to be like a real person, so you would think that if you're a person, you are born and you are in society, but you're not. Like you have to get a birth certificate. Like they have to certify that you're a United States citizen or you are a citizen of whatever country you get a birth certificate from. And I get it from the sense that I think they want to track people so you can have like a collective system where everyone's paying taxes and you know where people are at all times. But it's strange. Like if you really sit there and you think about it, like if I had to explain to an alien, like this is how it works. This is how my country works. First off, you would have to explain to them what a country is, because they would look at you and be like, you're human. Everyone's human. Why do you have a country? And then you would have to try to explain that to them, which would, get confusing because you don't really know why you have a country. Like you understand you have a country in the sense that you don't like the other country's ideas. And, even me asking you, like, I don't really know why. And it's almost like a greed thing, like a greed thing, right? It's like, this is my country, stay out of my country, and I will protect my country. But imagine explaining that to like an alien. You would stumble. You would really have to be prepared for it, and it just wouldn't make sense. Like territory makes sense, right? Like this is my house, and even if someone was an absolute sweetheart and they walked into my house, I would get uncomfortable. I wouldn't like that they were here. I would wonder why they're here. They shouldn't be here. And that makes sense, right? Species have territory issues. Like, this is my territory. But a country as itself, like, you're identifying as something that is not you, but is a collective of everything. And if you're not part of this country, you can't be in this country. And that's a strange thing, right? That's a really strange thing. Because I know for me, like, I'm an American. I'm a born citizen. But I don't want to just be that. But in order not to just be that, there's a long process that it takes to be something else. I don't know. I find myself thinking about countries way too often, way too much, and way too much depth. And it's because it's a very interesting topic when you really start diving deep into it. I don't know. But I asked this, so a few weeks back, I was asking everybody this question. And this question is interesting, and if you guys have your response to it, put it in the comment section below, or just let me know, however, if you want to let me know. The question is pretty simple, but it requires a lot of thought. And you can tell a lot by somebody. I think you can tell a lot by someone's like psychology and like where their standpoint is and where their viewpoint is. With this question. So if I were to ask somebody, for example, if an alien would come down, or if a species from outside of our planet comes down and they ask you, please present us with 3 of your species, so 3 humans that have made that, an alien comes down, and a creature from another planet, out of our Earth. Jesus, Mike, my head is just not working. My brain is just not connected to my mouth hole. Please present us with 3 humans that represent your species the best. And that's a weird question, right? That's a weird question because there's so many different avenues you could take. You get the people who give you 3 of very modern humans, which makes you think that maybe that person doesn't really spend a lot of time. Maybe they just don't value the history of humankind. And I would assume that they don't particularly understand how long humans have been here. Maybe that person is a more self-centered person. And I'm just throwing these out there. Or maybe that person is in their own world and they're okay with that. They're totally fine with that, which I completely respect. I respect all the answers. Or maybe somebody only gives you older generation people from hundreds of thousands of years ago, from 10,000 years ago. I don't know if we know anybody from hundreds of thousands of years ago. But I guess maybe the person could present the alien with the first ever human bones we found, just to show the alien this is how long we've been here. And then the alien comes back with something like, oh, bitch, we've been on planet Zingzong for 2 million years. You're like, fuck, man. God damn it. They've been here for 1.75 million years longer than us. Oh, that would suck. Especially if you're trying to tell me our oldest human, at least as far as we know, is not even equivalent to how long they've been around. And then on top of that, they have been around that long. They might know a little something about us, and then maybe they're like, oh, you haven't found that one and that cave over there that's like 500,000 years old or 3 million years old. Like, bitch, dude, you've been here a lot longer than that. And then you would feel like an idiot. So you have those people that tell you about older historical creature or historical people, historical Homo sapiens. And then those people, you might assume that, like, and this is psychology behind it, like, you might assume that that person is almost like fed up with modern society. Maybe they're more of a, I guess, like a hippie. They wish things were older, and even like 50, 30 years ago, 50 to 100 years ago, like maybe they don't like the modern world that we live in. And then you run into people who say people like Jesus or like Muhammad or I think Moses is, God, I cannot be wrong with this because I don't want to offend everybody. Let me look this one up before I just start spouting shit off. Savior of the Jews? Maybe that's, crap, I don't know, man. Damn it. Who is the Messiah? I'm sorry, I probably sound so ignorant right now. Who is the Messiah? Messiah. In Jewish, a future Jewish king from the David line, anointed, and his eyes clean, driven as the Messiah is not considered God. What the heck? I thought it was, who do the Jews believe in? I don't fucking know. Jesus Christ, I sound like a fucking idiot. I want to say it's Moses. The God of Jews. Yahweh? Yahweh. Okay. Okay, so I think I wouldn't sound like an idiot if I said Moses. Maybe. Let's go with wait. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are the national God of the Israelites, derived from the Israelites from slavery in Egypt and gave them the law of Moses. So if this alien comes down or Abraham, I think is a father actually. Never mind. We're gonna go with Abraham. I really hope. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to offend people. I really don't. So Abraham. So the alien comes down and I say Abraham. Somebody says Jesus Christ and somebody says Muhammad. Alien's going to look at you and be like, who are these great people that you speak of? And then you're going to say something upon the lines of, this is, then you're going to start thinking about it. And then it's going to be really confusing for the God, right? Or for the alien. It's going to be like, well, wait, they have something that was sent down from the heavens, and that's how you're supposed to live your life. They sound like just a person. Then the alien would be really confused, and then you might be confused, or you might really believe in it, which is totally acceptable, and I totally respect it. So then you have those people that give off their spiritual leaders. And then you have people who, like, the way I answered it is the way I said it. I don't remember my first response, but I think my second person was Hitler, Adolf Hitler. And it's interesting because the question was 3 people, the history of human time and currently in modern day that you believe represent the human nature the best. And let's say the aliens here for a survey. They'll go on each planet and checking out the dominant species and say, "Oh, what's going on with you, buddy?" Could you imagine if kangaroos were as common as squirrels? So apparently, I don't know how much I believe it because I've never been to Australia. So I guess all I can do is believe it until I see it. But that would make me a person that. But okay, pause for the kangaroos. Let's get back to my question. And so I said Adolf Hitler, and then I said this to somebody, and they're like, wait, why would you choose Adolf Hitler? I'm like, because I want the alien to realize how capable the human species is of pure destruction. Because I want to showcase the most honest representation of the human species. I don't want to just give them the greatness. I don't want to say MLK, Rosa Parks, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, who apparently had sexual relationships with very young people, and like very Gandhi. I shouldn't be just saying these things without. I didn't know he was assassinated, man. That's crazy. I don't know how much I believe in this. It's by the Huffington Post, which I don't know if that's like true thing. I mean, it does matter. Like they're saying things like he was. So this is by the Independent. He was homosexual, which I don't know if that really. That doesn't matter, right? That doesn't. I don't know, like if I should be. He set up ashrams in which he began his first experiments with sex. Boys and girls were to bathe and sleep together chastely, but were punished for any sexual talk. Men and women were segregated, and Gandhi's advice was the husbands should not be alone with their wives, and when they felt passion, should take a cold bath. The rules did not, however, apply to him. Something Nayar, the attractive sister of Gandhi's secretary, also his personal physician, attended Gandhi from girlhood. She used to sleep and bathe with Gandhi. When challenged, he explained how he ensured decency was not offended while she's bathing. I keep my eyes tightly shut. He said, I do not know whether she bathes naked or with her underwear on. Obviously with her fucking naked, I would assume. I could tell from the sound that she uses soap. I don't know. No, I'm not gonna say it. I don't think I said it. Anyways, so yeah, you have people who like would just press like all like the quote unquote peaceful people of our generation or of our history. But I was presented with that question to my brain, and then my brain responded with like Adolf Hitler. I think I said Adolf Hitler. I think I said my father actually, which is a really interesting one. And I don't know what my third one was. I really don't know. I don't know what it was. But that's an interesting question, right? Because it can show you a lot about the person that you're asking the question to. It can show you a lot. And there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. But it does kind of bring up a question of it's always so interesting when you think about what human is and what we are capable of, what we're not capable of, and we're capable of extremes of both sides. And we always have been, We've always had the ability to just do terrible things. And we also have the ability to do great things. And we also have the ability to create kingdoms. And, we also have the ability to completely take down kingdoms. I was talking to somebody at the gym a couple nights ago on the way out. I was like, dude, it's always men. It's always men that build shit up and tear shit down. And it's true. Like if a great kingdom is being built, the workers are men. The work the people making them work are men. The kings are usually men. Um, and then the people in the highest power are men usually. And just as well as humans can do that, we can also completely tear shit down and turn on our own people and kill our own people when demanded. And it's interesting. It goes back to like the depth of what we are. Like we're just animals. At the core of us, we're animals, and we have animal instincts still. But we also have the ability to sympathize with other animals, so other species. So I mean, not other species, but other people in our species, so other people. And that's when it can get weird. And it's the complexity of humans is something that's always been so fascinating to me, to see the way some people are brought up and the way that some people think is good is bad and bad is good. Like I was telling this person, he's telling me how I always seem so confident. And I think the secret to confidence, if you even value confidence, is a good thing. And for me, I give confidence a decent high value of a good thing or a positive thing, because it allows you to just try more. And it's a strange cycle, because in order to build confidence, you need to succeed. And the only way you succeed is by constantly perfecting your craft and constantly falling apart and making it better. Otherwise, you would never succeed. I've done many things many times, and I've done it wrong many times. But it's like, in order to build that self-confidence, you need to prove to yourself that you have the ability to overcome and accomplish something that at one point was really hard for you, but then turns out that you did it. And you can look at yourself and be like, when you can honestly look around and say, wait, hold up. Nobody did this for me. This is me. Like, that's a direct boost to your confidence. And it's strange, because compliments are when somebody tells you that you're doing a good job. And they will never give you confidence, and it's sad to see. It's really sad to see. It's like that fulfillment. It's like each time you feel fulfilled, it increases your level of self-confidence. And you can be completely empty and have everyone thinking that you are the greatest thing since, I don't know, since white rice, or I don't know if that's a great thing. But in order to really start the journey of hopefully being able to better yourself in the field of feeling good about yourself, it starts small, man. It starts really small. It starts just with accomplishing little task. Whatever you have to do, you got to do it. You can't, and I struggle with this, you can't spread yourself out too thin. If you spread yourself out too thin, you never achieve anything. You just almost, it's like if you spread yourself out too thin, what you get a lot of time is a lot of compliments from a lot of people, which can reinforce you in thinking that you're accomplishing a lot. But people do not continue to give you compliments after you've been doing something consistent for a long period of time. When you're doing something for a long time and it's successful, and then you start gaining attraction, or you start attraction, and then you start getting some traction, it's no longer people telling you how great you are. It's now people not really saying anything to you. And the truth is that humans are basically just a sack of organs and skin that is filled with insecurities from birth. I mean, if you are a child who didn't get the beauty genetics of your parents, you're insecure about that. You might resent your parents. And so from day one, you're insecure. And if there's anybody that you know who is doing something that you want to do and that you don't do because you have the fear of so many people judging you, and you have the fear that when you fail, people are going to think that you're a failure, that's strictly on you. Because when you fail, nobody gives a fuck. It's the same thing I tell people before they go in the gym. When you go to the gym, and you might be overweight, or you might be underweight, or you might be in shape, but you have such bad body dysmorphia, you don't think you're in shape, or you're just strictly afraid of putting yourself out in the public. I always tell people, when you go to the weight room, because a lot of people, when they start at the gym, they have no issue with the cardio equipment, because it just by pure statistics, it tends to have less muscular people in the weight or in the cardio equipment. There's more bulkier, I guess, quote unquote, intimidating large humans in the weight room. So it's easier to get on cardio equipment. And also, there's no really competition. Like, if you see someone lifting 100-pound dumbbells and you can only do 40, you can't hide that you're not struggling on 30-pound dumbbells. So it's a completely different atmosphere. But something I like to tell people, and I think they really start understanding it. When you go into a weight room, people look at you, right? They look at you because you look different, right? You're overweight. You might be really underweight, but it's not out of disgust. It's out of just something different, a different person. I would assume if someone is in really good shape, they probably go to the gym every day at this specific time. And I know this from my point of view. I notice if someone is in the gym that I've never seen before, not out of disgust or hating them, but just on the simple fact that they normally don't come here, and now they're here. But after that moment, nobody really cares anymore. I mean, not like in a mean, rude way, but just in a like the matter of fact way. Like, people don't, and it's almost a selfish thing to think that people pay attention to you. They don't. People don't pay attention to that, and I don't know if that can help you, but I know for the people I've worked out with, it's helped them a lot to understand that you go in the weight room, everyone's there to work out, right? Everyone's there to build themselves up, you would hope. I know for me, there's been times where I've used the gym just to not have to go home, or just to run away from things and try to gather my thoughts and potentially not harm myself. And I would go to the gym for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours as an escape. And some people I think a lot of people go to the gym for that. But it's in the same sense that you will build your confidence once you start actually valuing your craft, what you do, and making a little bit of traction in it. Just a little bit. That's all you need. You just need enough to prove to yourself that you're making progress. And then a compliment will help you. It'll get you started, but it won't let you go. I mean, you won't ever accomplish anything if your only fuel to the fire is people telling you that you're doing a good job or that I'm proud of you. You can't do that. You can't even expect your partner to do that. It's not their job. It's they have a lot going on too, and everyone has a lot going on, and nobody owes you kind words, and nobody owes you physical reinforcement. Nobody owes you money to invest in to get your company off the ground. Nobody owes you anything, and that's something that just honestly by knowing that boosts my confidence. Knowing that whatever I do, I'm gonna have to do it on my own. That makes me feel good because I don't want a handout. You shouldn't want a handout either. A handout will help you a little bit, but also the truth of the matter is, if you have a good product, if you have a good idea, and you do it long enough, it will eventually work out. And there's something magical about that, right? So I'm 10 episodes into the podcast, and these 10 episodes are going to be absolutely horrible when I'm on episode 500, right? It's going to be terrible. I'm going to be looking back at it. Hopefully I'm in a different studio. Hopefully I'm not here. And that's not because I don't like where I am, but it's simply because I want to progress. And that's not financially. I mean, obviously that would be financial if I can upgrade my studio space. But also it's the same idea that if you work at a corporate job, we celebrate when you get a pay increase or when you get a promotion. It's like, it's not money that's the issue that people have the issue with. It's the fact that you are doing something that other people are very insecure about, that you have the ability to just go at it without worrying about the opinion of other people. And that can be very demotivating for people, for other people around you. And it's interesting because the people closest to you can sometimes be the people who don't support you the most. And it's a lonely journey. It's a lonely journey to find confidence, and sometimes, and then also it's a fine line between being confident and being an absolute fucking cock, just being a dickhead, and it's a really thin line, and that's requires maturity, not age, but maturity, like we spoke in the last podcast. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are angry. I was in this restaurant industry for so long, and I had my biggest pet peeve, and I don't know if you do this. If you do, stop doing it. Is when you would be a server and somebody would treat you like you work for them, and it's like, at least in my viewpoint, it's like, no, like when you would maybe mess something up. Someone's steak is like medium, and it comes out medium well. An honest mistake, right? Not even on me. I didn't do it. I'm not the cook. But you bring it out and somebody says, well, there goes your tip. It's like, okay, that's not acceptable, and we're not going to do that here. Do you want a new server? Because I don't work for you. I don't care about your tip because I value myself more than the dollar, right? That's important, man. It's really important to value yourself more than just being a dollar sign. You're so much more than that. And the dollars can ruin people, and it ruins people all the time, man. Judgment ruins people. And judgment's a weird one because judgment is human nature. A lot of times judgment is just a first perception idea of what somebody is, which biologically is a protection mechanism. But judgment is also something that humans do so frequently that we have colleges 6 to 8 years. I think that's how long law school is, just to judge. Should be a professional judge person, where your job all day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or I don't know, if you're a judge, you can tell me your hours, where you just sit there and judge other people. Like, that's your job. And that's just so crazy to think about. But it's not, because a lot of people get lost in that. A lot of people find so much value in that. And if that's what you find value in, then it's going to be really hard to find confidence, because you spend all day just putting other people down to build yourself up. And it's like a plus minus, like plus one, minus one. Plus one, you think you're above somebody because they're lower here than you are. Then an hour goes by and you realize, oh, that person was higher here and I'm lower here. It's like finding your craft and just working on it really hard, and but still finding time to just smile throughout the day. Those are really important things. I don't know where that went. I don't know where that came from, but it's true though. Like, you need to take pride in what you do. You need to find pride in yourself. You need to be humble, but you can't have too much humility. Too much humility turns into disrespect for yourself, right? If you are always humble, then you are never saying anything. And if you're a really intelligent person, but you have an overabundance of humility, you may not say something that could possibly change the world. Like, thank God Benjamin Franklin and Nikola Tesla and anybody, Elon Musk, even, or Jeff Bezos, some people think, some people don't think. Thank God they weren't as humble as they could have been, or they would have never created Amazon. They would have never created electric. They would have never created a light bulb. And it's like, that's the truth. And I think there's a time where you should showcase your knowledge, and there's also a time where you should stop showcasing your knowledge and just listen. But there's also a time where you take a certain craft that you have and you just fucking take the hammer out and you just chisel away. You just knock off the edges and you just keep going until it blossoms into something, until you make it blossom into something by the act of creating it really well for other people. That could be a product, that can be a service, and learning how to deal with people. Man, you see it all the time, where sometimes people who are running places and sometimes who are the managers, they're like maybe not the 6-year college educated person, or they're not getting, I don't even know what you get on SATs, the thousands on your SATs. They're not that person. But they're the person that, if someone's having a bad day, instead of telling them, drop the attitude, let's get at it. You can't have that coming into my place and coming into your job. Instead of taking that route, they take the route of, hey man, come in my office. What's going on? Let's talk. but at the same time, helping the person, but also letting the person know, hey, I'm still the boss. And, you can talk, and if you need the day off, but if you lie to me and you tell me you're fine, and then you mess up, then we have an issue. And it's like, those are people skills, and those are skills that you just learn, or you don't learn. And we all know people like that, but you have to perfect your craft. You got to build up self-confidence while not being self-egotistical. You got to find a balance between time for yourself to fulfill yourself, but also having time for other people. And, it's one of those things where if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you have to, and you can say what you want with what I'm about to say, but you have to find time to put the other person ahead of you. And so many relationships don't do that. It's like you're taught for some weird reason, you got to put yourself first. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But if you want to have a successful relationship, dude, the other person's got to feel wanted. They got to feel needed. They got to feel loved. And sometimes you just got to take the back seat for a second. And, that sucks. And if you're not ready for that, then don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know. I was listening to a podcast. Let me take a sip of my coffee before I transition. I was watching CNN and Fox at work, and on the left screen it was Fox promoting, not promoting, but basically pushing the agenda to, it made me think that they didn't want immigrants here, like they didn't want Mexicans here, or Guatemalans or whoever's trying to cross the border. And on the next TV, it was like trashing cops again, and like how cops are evil, instead of stating the fact that some cops are evil, some immigrants are evil, some Americans are evil, some bad guys are good. And I posed this question in my head. I don't think I asked anybody which makes me seem like a crazy person again. But I posed this question in my head, which I feel like it's just a simple question. What if we did that? What if we actually fulfilled, and we could hypothetically in this world that may not be true, where you could just get rid of both of those sects of the population? As of today, no more immigrants allowed in this country. As of today, all cops are done. No more cops, by cops. It's like you're fulfilling what these people think and what these people want, but what's happening? You're going to have total anarchy. It's like, and I don't know. It makes me sad that we're at a point where we can't work together to come up with better solutions to anything. Nothing progresses, right? And as much as I don't want to act like it's a real issue, it's an issue, because you see it in people all the time. Like, I have people come up to me and just start, I'm not even like pushing it on them. I'm not even presenting them with a feeling of tell me about how you really feel about something. And I mean, you see older gentlemen, older ladies just getting extra loud when they start talking about like politics to you. It could just be my interaction, and I could just have a tendency to do that, but to I guess people feel safe talking to me, but people just don't. People believe in everything that they see, in everything, and it's sad to see, because as smart as so many people are, it's like the stupidity in this world is also like so high, because there's no reason to come up with your own thoughts. There's no reason to have your own thoughts. There's no reason to sit down in a quiet room and think about what's entering your head and what's leaving your head, the mental pollutants of the world. You don't worry about them. You just don't care about them. They don't bother you, because there's something 24/7 that's teaching you what you think is what they think is right, and people just don't think for themselves anymore, and it's really sad to see. And then, like, if I were trying to create something to take itself down from the core, I would, instead of trying to kill it off, and instead of trying to like trying to get outsiders to take over this organism, I would teach the organism to falsely identify itself from within, and falsely and then make it corrupt from the middle in, right? That's how you would do it. You would make the bridge fall starting from the middle. Once the middle goes, the whole thing goes. And it's like, that's almost like what you see now. Like, it's dangerous. If it's like weird if you find somebody who has viewpoints from both sides of the spectrum and like understands each side and doesn't act out to words, like trigger words. I don't know. It's a strange thing, man. It's weird. I don't know, man. I want to get people on here to just talk about that. Just talk about that. I'm gonna go ahead and change up the direction this podcast is going. I know it's serious, and I don't intentionally do these episodes to be serious, but I do find the whole intention of this podcast when I first started was to just share my thoughts and share my truths with everybody, and allow myself to be wrong, allow myself to be right, allow myself to just say what's on my mind, without anybody telling me what and what not to say, and allowing me to complete my thoughts in front of everybody, and just letting people. And the whole idea of it is to hopefully it allows you guys watching it to feel like you can say what's on your mind, and to show you that there's complexity within yourself, and I probably go back and forth on many subjects that I'm this side and that side, but I want to show people, like, that's what it is. Like, that's actual, like, that's real, man. Like, what's not real is to have one idea and never change. Like, that's not real. That's completely false. That's not how things work. That's not how anything works. That's not how we want it to work. 1 year we have a Republican president, and 4 years later we have a Democrat president. If we all wanted the same, it would stay the same, but we don't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And it's like, I created this podcast with an intention to just talk without having any agenda. I have a few podcast ideas that I keep up here. There's a list probably of like 25 things, and I delete them as I go. But that's what I want. That's what I want. I want a very, from my mouth to your ear, I want it to be very transparent. I don't want it to come off as scripted. Like, everything seems so scripted nowadays, right? Everything seems like there's always a reason behind everything, but not like because a person or the company wants to do it, but because they're trying to push a different message here and there. It's crazy to think about, and that's why I really think podcasts they've already been blowing up, and that's why I think they're going to continue to blow up, because there's nowhere else in this world where you can sit down and you can just talk and say things that are wrong, say things that are right, which is all opinionated on the way you hear them. And then I want to get people on here to talk about it too. And when I get people on here, they won't be like an interview. It would just be a talk, a hangout, talk session with somebody that I find interesting and someone that maybe you will find interesting. And if you don't, then next episode you might find that person interesting. And just to show people that complexity is real. And, blue has a lot of shades, and red has a lot of shades, and humans have a lot of shades. We have a lot of shades to us, and we change, and we're an ever-evolving organism. We're always changing. We always will change. It's just what we do. It's who we are. It's who we've always been. And that's my goal with this podcast, is just constantly push a message that hopefully can get through to everybody, that you don't have to be stuck where you think you have to be. You don't have to work that job that you don't like. You don't have to be in that relationship that you hate. And you have the ability to control your own life, right? You have that ability. If you love painting pictures of fairies on chalkboards, or I guess if you're painting, or let's say you love making sculptures of fairies, you can do that, and that's totally fine, and if you are currently never doing that, but you love it and you do it once in a while, I want this podcast to make you feel like, you know what, maybe I'm not doing it because I have a job and this job pays me well and I need to make this money. Hopefully the goal of this podcast is to make you change that perspective, make you realize I don't need this money because I don't feel fulfilled. It's not fulfilling, but I feel most fulfilled when I can take an idea in my head of a fairy, and I can transform it into a reality of on a sculpture. And if that's fulfilling to you, then go ahead and fucking do it. I mean, that's what I want. I want that for people, and I've always wanted that for people. And that's this podcast. Like, that's hopefully I create an environment where you don't feel afraid to tell me that I'm wrong. And you don't feel, because I know I'm not right. Like, I'm not right about anything I say. I might be right for a little bit. Nobody at science isn't right. Now, at one point, man, if you were schizophrenic, they would just kill you. I mean, because the devil was inside of you. And if you could, I don't know. Let me look it up. I want to make sure I'm right with this one. Test in Salem to see if you were a witch. So they would do so this used to be the reality. This was real. If you lived during this time period, the swimming test. This used to be just as real as we think Democrat and Republican is, right? It's not, though. And that I want to show that everything just keeps changing. And the only thing that matters is how truthful you are to yourself. And just an example, the swimming test is part of the infamous quote-unquote swimming test. Accused witches were dragged to the nearest body of water, stripped to the undergarments, bound, and then tossed to see if they would float or sink. And if they floated, they were, I guess, witches, or, and it's like, the touch test in court, they would look for a devil's mark on the person that is being accused. If they did find a mark, then that would mean that the person is guilty of being a witch. Like, so that was real, man. That was real to these people. And that's the whole point. I want to show people that your thoughts are real, man. You're allowed to have them. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. I know it's kind of scattered. It's a little bit everywhere, but it's just where my brain is today. I'm going to try to do one of these maybe every day, but most likely every other day. Between 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is between 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. Western Standard Time. Fill in the blanks for those. But I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast right here. I'm going to take these headphones off. I'm going to shower, try to get some reading done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please leave it a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your family on YouTube. Please share it on Facebook. And then if you are watching this on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or any of those major podcast platforms, please leave it a positive ranking and start 5 stars and leave it a good comment if you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great, beautiful day. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll catch you guys on episode 11.